Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Mastering Rod Building Podcast. I'm your host, Bill Faulkner, and I am delighted to be joined again with the man, the myth, the legend, Bill Oyster of Oyster Bamboo in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And so if you've been paying attention, and I know a lot of you listen to it because the numbers are very good, but we recorded an episode in early December of 2025, shortly before Aaron Lowe, my sales guy, and me, along with our buddies Joe and Steve Haywood at HFF Custom Rods, took, after much long wait and years of anticipation, took the Oyster Bamboo Rodbuilding Class in Bill's shop in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And so if you haven't listened to that episode, I highly recommend you pause on this one and go listen to that, and then listen to this one as a follow-on, because there's a lot of really, really good information in that. But if you're one of those people like me who's bad at following directions, Bill has been building bamboo full-time professionally 27 years. He's inarguably taught more. He and his team have taught more people to build bamboo than anyone else in the world, maybe everybody put together. I don't know. He's commissioned rods for U.S. presidents, State Department officials, foreign royalty, like literally a who's who of anybody. I don't know this, but based on my research, you've probably have built as many rods as in terms of an American rod builder and scale as more than anybody out there. You're also a master engraver, and kind of, as I have come to find, a fun guy to hang around, and sort of a Renaissance man in every aspect of the word. So please welcome back Bill Oyster.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Bill.
Oh man, I literally can't, I really almost don't know where to begin. And anyone who knows me will tell you I'm rarely speechless. But as we talked about on the first episode, I have thought about taking this class for more than 10 years. I can't remember if it was 12 years or 14 years, but I knew about it. I had heard about it. I never really talked to anybody first person who'd done it, and I felt drawn to do it. I wanted to do it. Honestly, I couldn't afford it at first when I was looking at it, and then got busy over the years and all this. But finally, the opportunity presented itself. And what Aaron and I finally had to do was, like, we've been talking about this for 3 years. If we don't just pay the deposit and lock ourselves in, we're never going to do it. So that's what we did. And we paid a deposit and said, Cassie, I don't know when we're going to be able to take it, but I want to lock myself in. And she said, all right, as long as you take it. This was like in late 2023, maybe, or early 2024. And she said, as long as you take it before the end of 25, your deposit's good. And we ended up taking the December 2025 class. So we kind of skated in under the wire. But I mean, I'm almost overwhelmed. Now, you do this, you do it all the time, but wow, the class is awesome, man. I mean, it was so unbelievable. Like, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess the first thing, and I asked Joe and Steve from HFF, and I asked, Dusty, who was in our class and is a buddy who's taken multiple classes with you. I think this was his third class. And I asked Aaron, my guy, what were your impressions? These were my impressions. And everyone, like, the first thing out of their mouth said, Dusty's a commercial pilot, and, has to test pilots and train pilots and do this stuff, right? Like, Joe, Aaron, Steve, and I have all taught tons of people how to repair rods, how to build rods. Now, granted, that's conventional, non-bamboo rods and not always fly rods, but just what you guys do in a 6-day period, how well organized it is, how well organized and clean and well equipped the shop is, right? Every single tool you're going to need for every step's right there in your tool chest at your personal bench with an outline around it so you can put it back in the right place. I'm kind of picky. Like, it's not unusual for me to be experiencing things a little bit differently than other people, because maybe I'm a little OCD or I go one more decimal place. But, like, the plane blades were sharp, the planing forms were smooth. You know what I mean? Like, all these little details, all the alcohol burners were full. I mean, it was just like every aspect of everything. You guys were on it, and we struggled to do a 2-day workshop with, like, entertainment seminars, not even like full hands-on instruction seminars. And we literally ran 6 days, every single segment of every day, right on time. We started when you said we were going to start. We ended when you said we were going to end. We were ready for, I mean, it's so incredibly well orchestrated and polished. And you are personally a very, very good instructor, and your team, Riley and Jacob. And for you guys, you get tons of help in this class. And it's sort of like show you once, let you do once with some supervision, or I'll show you one more time, then you do it. And everybody's walking around and checking while you're doing it. If you need correction, you get gentle, very clear redirection, right?
Right.
And then you sort of work at your own pace. If you fall behind, if you get frustrated, you can say, Riley, help me. And Riley will help you, or Riley will patiently guide you on, hey, stick with it. Here's what you need to do. All you did was this one a little too much and this one too little. Just keep going, right? So the amount of like non-pressure, like it's expert instruction, man. It's like you guys, I've seen people that have PhDs in adult education who couldn't teach people as well as you and your team teach this class. I mean, I was so super impressed. It's so job well done on that front. It's changed the way Aaron and I think about how we're setting up some of our events we host and things we teach and how we teach. It's like, man, how did Bill and Riley and Jacob, teach us all that stuff with so few words, right? And
Right.
like y'all's ability, and I know you kind of have most of it down rote at this point. You guys know what you're covering and who's covering what, but like there's not a wasted word and there's no extra words you don't need, right? And there's the time you allot for all the tasks was right on. It was very comfortable in the shop. If you're so inclined, there might be some really good beer on tap available at all times, and some whiskey available time to time. Which, for me, yeah, I see Bill's got his oyster whiskey glass. I know I have mine that I brought home. Literally, the only bad thing I could say about it is you have beautiful merch. I came home with, I think, 2 hats and 2 t-shirts and a long sleeve embroidered sim shirt and 4 whiskey glasses and 2 coffee mugs and a couple of able reels. So be warned, there's a treasure trove of wonderful things that you might not be planning on bringing home that you're very likely, and that's never mind what Aaron got too, right? So just hats off to you guys. You said on the last one, we didn't get here overnight. Like, we constantly tweak it. We've been changing it, tweaking it, revising it for 20 plus years. Man, it shows. This thing is like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, Bob, thank you. It's it's a lot. It's a very technical thing we're taking on, and sometimes with customers who are not very technically gifted. Sometimes, sometimes
Right.
they are, sometimes they aren't. You never know
Right.
who's going to come through the door, and we have to be able
Right.
to get everybody to the end of the road. So, um, kind of like you said, we don't waste words, and the reason for that is, we could talk about these things all day. Like,
Right.
what we're telling you when we show you how to use a tool or do a step, we could talk about that one step all day.
Yeah.
But we find that people can actually follow what you're saying for about 25 seconds
Yeah.
before they start to look around the
Right.
room, so
Right.
you've got to make sure that the words that you are saying are the ones that they're
Right.
able to absorb and the ones that are actually going to help them achieve that step, and each step being broken down to the smallest part of the big picture. So we try
Right.
not to look at the big picture too much. We try to eat that elephant one step at a time,
Exactly.
or one
Yeah.
bite at a time.
Right.
And yeah, and just like said, many years and many thousands of students at this point of refining. People come back every year. We have students that come once or twice or 3 or 4 times a year, and every time they come, they're like, "You changed it. We didn't do
Right.
this last time." Says,
Right.
but we've always been that way because we're always trying
Relentless
to
pursuit,
dial it
right?
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I
If you're
believe
not
you
changing, you're not
haven't.
growing.
I've closely inspected under wonderful light and magnification, like some of the rods you had out front. I think a lot of which sold during that week while we were in the class. But you said you've never turned one out that was absolutely perfect. I'm not sure I agree, but yeah, you get that sense from being in the class, kind of the trying to make it accessible, and the there's no hubris about we have this mastered. Like, everybody's still learning. And just, it's one thing to say you got all kinds of students from all kind of backgrounds with different levels of experience and technical aptitude and physical aptitude, but then it's another thing to put 10 people in a room and actually do it, right?
Right.
I mean, it is so distilled to what you need and nothing you don't. Just for the audience, like, the typical instruction is, okay, here's the next step we're going to do. Here's why we do this. Here's why it's necessary. Here's how you do it. Here's what not to do. go, and we're going to walk around and help. And then you show it. You don't just say it, you show it. Anybody, questions, want to see it again? Okay, go. It's a very, doesn't matter whether you're an auditory learner, visual learner, learn by doing, like you
Mm-hmm.
get a chance to do it. And I'm the last one's going to argue with you about anything, but I was a little bit shocked at how, like, the next step I was going to talk about is the class, right? So we had two people in our class. We talked about this in the first podcast. I guess I'll just go to this point as the next point. I went into this thing focused very much on learning how to build a bamboo fly rod and hopefully coming out at the end with something that was functional that I was proud of. That's a fait accompli. Like that, everybody did that. And your sort of description of the average class and who comes and takes these classes and how are you signed up 2 years in advance at all times when you teach so many classes? Our class was like that. It's a 10 people in a class. Half of our class, this was their second or more class, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of those people, I'm just gonna, this is how personal it is. I never expected to make these fast friends for life with the people that were in our class, right? And I knew five of the people going in, I knew, but we have stayed in touch, right? We had Chuck and Lisa, we had Sandy and Judy, Dusty, Nicholas, Joe, Steve, Aaron, and me. And like by the end of maybe the second day, it's remarkable as just like a study of psychology. When you all come in with something in common and shared goals, like it's easy to get along. But
Right.
the class was such a cool joy to be with. Like I made friends in the class and I'm still in touch with those folks, right? Like I'll probably be in touch with members of that class for as long as we're alive.
Yeah.
I never counted on that, right? Like I never counted on, but it makes, and I'd say, well, we're all rod builders and we're all fishermen, but like two of the ladies who came and took the class, and I love these ladies. I never know whether people want me to use their names or not, but we'll use code name Sandy and code name Judy, and we'll reveal no other identifying, information about them. Not only had never built a rod, had never fly fished before.
Right.
But said, hey, I have access to this stretch of the river with this new place where I moved. And I feel like it's something cool for me to get into. So I'm going to try it. And I remember kind of looking around the room being like, well, gosh, you're kind of starting at the top of the mountain, aren't you?
Right.
She did great. And then her
Yeah.
friend who came with her was like, yep, I don't do this. I don't know nothing about it. I'm that friend you can call who's always down to do whatever and will come go with you. And she wasn't joking. Like she just like signed up and took the class and they
Right.
did great, right? Like their rods were beautiful and they enjoyed
Yeah.
it. And they bought beautiful Able reels. They got custom engraving on their rods and their reels. It was just such an interesting thing to hang out with the class. And so, like, I think our class was probably an example of people who've taken the class multiple times, some of them, others who had never taken it but had rod building experience and were anglers, still others who had no rod building experience but were anglers. And then we had people who had none of anything. And everybody
Right.
built an actual beautiful functional rod. I mean, that's the other thing that I think surprised me, and I don't mean this in any way, but you mentioned it. It's highly technical. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's at least as easy to get wrong as it is to get right?
Right.
But y'all make it so easy with such established guardrails. And let me be clear, you are building your own rod. You are doing every step. This isn't Bill builds it for you and you just sort of watch and touch and sign and have a step here and there. You're doing it, and everybody in the
Yeah.
class did it. And I was just so impressed how well everybody did without any kind of prior experience. And again, to me, that's a credit to you guys and your instruction and how well you structure every aspect of it, how well equipped it is and how well lit it is and how comfortable you are and the pacing and the timing. Like it was a hell of a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you of all people probably know, and I'm sure for Riley and Jacob and you're this lovely young woman who engraves with you, Paxton.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about engraving is a whole other subject. But I'm sure sometimes it's work for you guys. I know sometimes rod building gets to be work for me, especially if I'm under a deadline or something, or even as we think about all the steps you got to do, there are steps I personally enjoy doing more than others, right? There's some that are
Right.
work and there's some that like, I never get tired of doing this. I love this part, I kind of assume it's kind of the same for you and for Riley and for Jacob, but and for Paxton, but man, it didn't feel that way, right? It feels like passionate people, artisans, like labor of love who love to teach and are
Yeah.
enjoying every step of it. I mean, we honestly, genuinely had fun the whole time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
If you have to work for a living, this is the place you want to work.
yeah, it could be worse, right? Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
man.
There's a lot worse places, a lot
Yeah.
worse ways to make a living, no doubt.
Yeah,
No
and your
doubt.
your 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 folks who work with you. I mean, Paxton, her engraving is absolutely beautiful. And Riley and Jacob are very capable. They built our second tips. If you elect for a second tip, right? We talked about some of the options that people can do. You just don't have time to get it done. And really, like sitting down at the end, they're basically watching what I'm doing as I'm wrapping and flaming and every step of the way, and they're making a tip to make it as close to where you can't discern which one was mine and which one was theirs. I can't believe that's not an easy task, right? Like making a match
Yeah.
set is way harder than making one, right?
Right. Yeah.
But they nailed it, man. I mean, it was crazy. Like if they weren't marked and I knew, I wouldn't have. I don't think I would have been able to tell which one was mine, except for mine had maybe a few more discernible, noticeable errors on it, you know.
Right.
So how did
Yeah.
those guys were so fascinating to me, and they're both so skilled too. Like they're a huge part of the team, right? Like they're there
Oh
with us
yeah.
every day. They're working constantly. They're both excellent instructors, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think you got lucky when you picked them, trained them, molded them, whatever you did, however you got to this point. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Cassie. Cassie does all the logistics along with your wife. Um, Manages the
Yep.
lodging, manages logistics, deposits, finances, rings you out at the end, all that. Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
she's just lovely, super organized, super fun. It just the whole thing
Yep.
was, it was like a week of vacation. I mean, I feel weird saying that because we did work hard and there was some sweat equity in it, but it was so fun. Like it's one of the coolest things I've ever done in rod building. And here's probably all I need to say. We're already signed up for a 2027 class. We we signed up for another class before we left, right?
Right
And
on.
there were several of us. I think there's like 5 or 6 of us that signed up for the same date in that class. Like, oh, y'all, this was so much fun.
Yeah.
Let's do this again, you know? And we end up eating lunch together and eating dinner together and hanging out in the shop afterwards together.
Hmm.
Maybe some of us are through first and others are taking longer. And we all just kind of hang out. I must have thrown
Yep.
the ball for the dog 10,000 times in the week, which I enjoyed very much, right?
Yeah. Pepper enjoys that too.
Yeah, Pepper, man, it takes a lot to wear Pepper out. Like I'm gonna go put the shoulder in rehab after that. But sit on a stool and throw the ball
She
for
loves
Pepper.
class week. That's her
Oh
favorite.
yeah,
So
well, why wouldn't she, man? It's a great
yeah.
week. I have a funny picture of her. We'll post it when we post this, like the very first morning of the very first day, and I'm all just geeked up, ready to go, and like almost vibrating with energy, right? Pepper just kind of walks out in the shop and just goes, you know, and like, and first thing, the first icebreaker for all of us was loving on the dog and learning the dog's name and talking to the dog,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Heck yeah.
the engraving, I mean, I've looked at lots of your engraving. You have a beautiful gallery on your website. But one of the things that happens in your shop, if you're in Blue Ridge and you want to go see, or you're interested in buying a rod from Bill, you are a master engraver. Paxton is a master engraver. And you guys actually will sit in the shop and work, and you have these TV displays showing you do the work.
Hmm.
I guess I sort of understood the finished project, but until I get to watch you several different times over a day or two, put the face of someone's dog in a high relief engraving or a shape and a proportion I'm super familiar with, like a redfish,
Hmm.
like a redfish eating a fly in motion in deep relief. It's fascinating to watch the process of how engravers engrave, right? And you guys
Right.
are like open book, like you can sit there and watch that whenever you're doing it as much as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to see it all happen. It's a lot of people are surprised. They're like, "Oh, so what machine do you put this in, or do you program that?" And I'm like, "Man, we are cutting it line by line,
No,
slice by
yeah,
slice." It's
I wouldn't have felt bad. Like if you somehow did like a laser outline and then you went to work on it for the relief or something, like I wouldn't even have felt like that was cheating, but you guys are literally freehanding it. And I'm going to post some pictures from some of the work that was done in our class. Like I was hoping you could do my falcon head of my Faulkner custom rods logo. That's child's play for you. Like you did one of the ladies, the face of her dog. And it's like was it a long haired schnauzer? I can't remember what exact, sweet dog. I can't remember what kind of dog it was, but she brought a photo and the likeness
Mhm.
is uncanny. I mean, and you're reproducing this on the nickel silver butt cap of a 4-weight fly rod. I mean, it's a tiny canvas, and it was like
Right.
she was like in tears. She was like, "It's perfect." I was like, "Golly, it is perfect. Like it looks exactly like like I know what my kids look like. You know what I mean? You're not going to fool me.
Right.
That's how much this thing looked like her dog. Is like that
Oh
is her
yeah.
dog, right? It wasn't just a dog that generally shared the shape and expression of her dog. It was like perfect. I
Yeah.
was so impressed with that. And I think every single person in the class opted for engraving in our class.
Yeah, that's it's kind of getting that way. Pretty much everybody gets some engraving. We
Right.
Most classes these days, everybody's opting for the extra tip.
Yeah.
The things that we offer, like the engraving, the extra tip,
Yeah.
the different upgrades, they're not really. I mean, they're good for us. They're money makers for
Right.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not a sales pitch. These are things we didn't
No.
offer for years. And then people kept coming to us and they're like, I saw this on your website. I want that on my,
Yeah.
and for years I had to just be like, literally not enough hours in the day. We
Yeah.
can't do
Right.
that. That's
Right.
just for our custom rods.
Right.
But it took us a long time to grow the business slowly and carefully to the point we have enough manpower now,
Right.
that we can accomplish those things. So,
Yeah.
and some people want everything. Some people want the basics.
Yeah.
We
And the
can do
fact that
whatever you want.
you were able to do that during the class, during the week while we're doing the class. I mean, it's like changing the tire while the car's on the highway. Like we show up the first day and I want to be clear on this point. There is no hard sell. There is no pressure. There's no nothing. There is just like, hey, here's a high level overview of what the schedule is going to look like. You're going to have a few decision points. So just day one, I'm going to warn you, decision point on engraving is here. Decision point on way of the rod is here. Very clear. Like and so you have time to think about it. You have time to look at prices. You have time to do whatever you want to do, make
Hmm.
thoughtful choices about what you want to include.
Right.
But yeah, that was awesome. And I can't think of a higher endorsement than basically everyone who was in our class is going to do the class again. That the fact that by the time it was time to decide on the engraving, every single person decided they wanted engraving on their rod. I mean, that you don't need to say anything else, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
strong, that's like 100% net promoter score, right? Like I'd do
Right.
it. I'd
Right.
recommend it to my friends.
Yeah.
It was
And
so
these
impressive.
repeats, the repeats are, it's been growing. Every year we have more and more students. We're running 240 folks a year through here. So we're
Unbelievable.
getting more and more people exposed. So the number of repeats is grow used to be
Yeah.
like 1 in 10, and then it was 2 in 10,
Right.
and then three, and now we're at pretty average. We're at about half the class, like you experienced,
Yeah.
is repeats, and it's growing every year. Like the rate we're going, there's hardly going to be room for new people to get in because, well, just like you did, people will pay on their way out the door and they'll deposit for their next one on their way out
I
the
get
door.
it. Why wouldn't you,
Eh,
man? It's such an
right.
awesome
And so folks
experience.
won't
Yeah.
even get a chance. It's so the hardest part about these classes is getting in it
Yeah.
and getting in here. And it's
Yeah.
hard. And I understand it is hard to take a week out of your life, come and do this. And it's the unknown, and you have to travel, be away from your family and your
Sure.
job. And,
You don't have to. You
but,
can bring your family to the class, put them in the class with you, right? There's nothing that
yeah,
says you can't. Yeah, I get why people like it. It's not just building a rod and walking out the door with the finished rod. It's a whole other
right.
thing. It's an
Yeah, it's
experience you
really,
get. It's the class camaraderie. It's getting to know you guys and your staff. And I don't know, you just leave feeling like a part of the family. I don't know how to describe it other than
yeah.
that.
And that's what you experienced is the thing that you only get having been here.
Yeah.
You'll see if you look at our website, there's no mention of any of these things you're raving about, really. As
Yeah.
there's no mention of it because it's not the sort of thing that you can really
Right.
convince people of. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
the people that come here the first time, they usually come for different reasons than the reason they come back. They come the first time about the rod, the
Hmm.
technicality of it,
Right.
the craftsmanship, the
Right.
project, the challenge of it. But the reality is the reason we have people that come 10, 20, 30 times over and over and over again,
There's a
that
lady
really
here in
is not about
Birmingham's come
that.
50 times.
Yeah,
50 times.
it's really nothing about that the rod so much as the experience of the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
And that's just something that you just have to kind of experience for yourself to
No, it's true. I get it. I mean, it's true. If I said these things, if you told me these things, I'd kind of be a little cynical and be like, "Sure, buddy, keep it. Look, come on. I'm
right,
not. I
exactly.
don't.
That's why we
I don't
don't
sit
even
at home by
mention
myself with no
it.
friends all the time. I don't need a place to belong or a family to attach to. Like, come on, man. What do you think? I'm a loser? And then you go and you're like, my people. Like, we're like tearing up and hugging each other and exchanging contact information and like, which one are you?
All
Which
right.
class are you signing up for next? It's really cool. I was, and maybe this is just me. I have spent some time back in the day when I was in college in Nashville. We would Oktoberfest in Helen, Georgia was a thing, right? I have fished up
Hmm.
around Big Canoe and some of those areas before, and have fished the Sequoia before and all. But oh my gosh, Blue Ridge is not the Blue Ridge I remember from, and I don't know whether people who are there as residents think that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, so many good restaurants, such great shopping. Like,
Yeah.
in looking back, if I could, I might bring my spouse just because she'd have fun, having a cup of coffee, watching the sun come up over the mountains every day, go into town, shop, have a great lunch. Like you're not captive. You know what I mean? And that was the other thing I think
Right.
I didn't expect. Like we had very comfortable lunches every day. We had real full on great dinners every night. And it didn't rush the process. Like we had plenty of time and it wasn't stressed. You know what I mean? It was it
Right.
was it was well in hand and under control. I mean, the only time that I was uncomfortable in the class was when day one, when you take a butt section of a bamboo rod and jump up and down on it. It was like, no, I nearly threw up. I look over and Aaron like turned beet red. It was like, oh my gosh. But that's kind of the other big epiphany for me. And you and I talked about this, and I thought I got it, and I thought I was understanding. But I think so many of us think of bamboo as arcane and antiquated and
Hmm.
traditional and sort of quaint and interesting in a technical mastery and historical throwback kind of a way.
Right.
These rods will fish.
Yeah.
And so I ended up building an 8-weight, which Riley and Jacob and Bill and the crew can walk you through how to select what rod you want. Essentially, the short version, Bill, is right. You'd say it fishes like one line weight lighter in a carbon fiber rod, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously, with modern materials, techniques, machineries, these rods produce greater and greater power. They're more efficient. And now we're going back to the horse and buggy days in the class. So things
Right.
have slowed down a little bit. And so we tend to go up a line weight in the rod we choose to take
Right.
fishing than
Right.
you would in a graphite, a modern rod.
Right.
So
But
even
you
though your
get.
line may be
So I'm sorry. Please.
so even though your line may be moving a little slower through the air, it's got carrying a little more mass, so you're getting the same amount of energy you're used to getting out of your rod.
Yeah,
So
and they're fishing rods. Unfortunately,
yeah.
I failed my one assignment, which is to have good pictures of me with something really impressive on my rod. That has not happened yet. I have not been able to other fish with it yet. I've only cast it and stuff, but I sort of can't believe I built that, and I'm a rod builder, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like this is a tool. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
catch some bass and redfish on this thing, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's very capable. So like I guess in my mind, I almost would have taken the class just so I had this artifact of the process. But I got a tool, I got a fishing rod now, and I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
fish it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and based on everything we learned in the class and how robust the construction techniques are, I'm not worried about it. Like I'm gonna take care of it. I'm not gonna abuse it. You never should abuse your gear. This thing will fish, and I'm not scared about using it, which I think
Right.
going in, I thought, well, I'll probably sort of take it out and show it to people over a glass of whiskey every once in a while, but I'm not actually gonna, I don't know, I'm fishing it. And it's
Oh yeah.
perfectly capable of being fished hard. Just take good
Oh
care
yeah.
of it, right?
Well, what people forget was for over a century, this was all there was.
Yeah.
Every fish caught on a fly rod was on a bamboo fly rod for
Yep.
over 100 years.
Yep.
And then graphite rods came along and wonderful tools, not knocking them.
Yeah.
Lighter, more powerful, less expensive. They're wonderful.
Available for the
Um,
masses.
but but that in no way negates bamboo's
Relevance.
functionality
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
fishing rod.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Saltwater fly fishing was invented on bamboo fly
Right.
rods, not
Yep.
graphite rods.
Yep.
Those guys, Joe Brooks, all those old guys out there in the Keys catching
Stu Apt.
tarpon.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they were fishing bamboo
Yep.
rods
Yep.
because that's all there was.
Yeah. And they work.
And
Yeah.
for myself, I was a fisherman before I was ever a rod maker.
Right. Yeah.
And I caught a million fish on graphite rods and I loved them. And but once I started making bamboo rods, I realized this is now once I started the business, I was like, this is the only rod I can use now.
Yep.
I can't be that hypocrite who's out
Right.
there fishing my
Right.
Sage or Orvis or Winston,
Right.
and then selling people. So if these weren't functional fishing tools,
Yeah.
I I wouldn't do it because it's the only thing that I fish,
Right.
and I fish the big tarpon, I fish permit, I fish the bonefish, I fish trout. Obviously, we have trout in our back door. We can get in the car in 6 hours, be fishing for tarpon and redfish,
Yeah.
and bamboo's all I use,
And
and
again, you have some awesome
completely
footage
functional.
of this stuff. If there's any doubters, like go on
Mhm.
YouTube and just Google Oyster Bamboo and you'll find the channel. And y'all showed us one video one night. The These are very capable functional instruments, like you said. And it's so interesting to me. People ask me all the time, like, I don't, I can tell you for sure, Bill, that I get a huge charge out of wading into a river and catching a trout on a fly I tied with a rod that I built. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
maybe even a leader I furled or tied up myself. I don't, somehow being involved in the preparation, I don't know what caveman part of my brain that scratches, but it just increases the engagement somehow. If
Right.
you are a rod builder and you have ever felt that way about a fiberglass or carbon fiber or composite rod that you spun up, buddy, wait until you make a bamboo rod. It is
Right.
literally like the next order of magnitude. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
true. Yeah.
I feel even more drawn to this rod by myself just pulling it out and looking at it. And for a while, I could still smell the varnish from the first when I'd pull it out of the tube. It's unfortunately that's sort of faded. There's no more fumes in there for me. But the level of like investment and it's personal. It's an N of one that I made in your shop with you guys on this date. I don't. It's hard to explain. I'm not trying to sound like a silly old romantic, but like the appeal of this rod to me, and I've built thousands of rods. It's just different. I'm not sure I fully understand why that is, but it's different in a very, very positive way.
Well, you know what? A way that I think about it, when I imagine it, because what is that difference? What are you feeling? Um, so you can kind of imagine a graphite fly rod as like a photograph. It is completely accurate. It is precise.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. Digital photography. That's graphite fly rods.
Yep.
It is amazing. And what we're doing in here is we're making oil paintings.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that's what you hang over your fireplace
Yeah.
mantle in
It's a
your
great
home.
analogy. Yeah.
It's something about the traditional craft of it. It's not that it's technically better in any way. It's just that it's got the history in it, the romance, the artistry of it, the craftsmanship of it.
Yep.
And to just go from taking a raw material that just grew on a hillside and then turning it into this magnificently beautiful fishing tool is just orders of magnitude beyond the most precise thing you can make on a machine with a computer, you know?
No, that's it. That's really well said. I mean, that's it. And if you've ever felt that level of engagement because you tied your own fly or wrapped your own rod, like it is that. And I'm telling you, in order of magnitude, it is so significant. And I don't know. I just have a whole new appreciation for the durability and the thoughtfulness of this solid bamboo uh, blank
Right,
assembly. You know what I mean? It's a very,
right.
very sound way to make fishing rods, right? And and
Yeah,
and you kind of don't get that until you do it. Like I could have described it to you in detail, but it's like, oh, I get it now.
right. And the worst thing, honestly, the worst thing that I can hear about bamboo rods, the thing that bothers me the most is an attitude that this is somehow elitist or stuffy
Yeah,
or European, and to hear like a young guy that's just like, I just, I want it. It's like this is an American invention
100%.
when this was state of the art. in the 1800s.
Right.
But this was something as the American fly fishers, this is our heritage. This is our biggest contribution to fly fishing. As an American angler, that this country has is the
Yep.
bamboo fly rod. It's
Yep.
what was copied by all the rest of the world,
Yep.
and was the standard. And it's an important part of our history.
Yeah.
And this is not some kind of stuffy elitist thing
Not at
that
all.
and I hate when people think of it like this is a beautiful, romantic, fun way to go fishing, catch fish, take your kid
Yep.
fishing, go fishing with your friends. It just enhances the experience. That's what it's
100%.
about. It is
Yeah.
not about the dollar signs and the elitism, the arrogance. That
No, there
I
was none of
despise
that.
that mentality. So
None of that in the class
I
either. I
like
mean,
that.
that there's
No.
none of that, none at all. And I agree. I think, and look, I mean, the only thing I'd say in counterpoint is I've met some people that are into bamboo rods, and that describes them accurately. And I don't
Yeah.
ever want to be around them or fish with them ever again. But that's
And,
not at
and
all what
I
this
don't
is
want
about.
to be around those
Right,
people
right.
either.
Yeah, that has nothing to
Right.
do with bamboo, right? That
They're
has to do
missing
with
the
some other
point.
issues. Yeah,
Those are guys that got into it for the wrong reason, and that's
exactly.
not what
Yeah.
we're about here.
No,
You
and
know.
it's not what you're about, and you
No.
feel that with every fiber you're being when you're in the class. I mean, I just it was so I'm still thinking about the experience and trying to say, okay, how do I become a better instructor? What can we take from this when we try to teach people other aspects of rod building? It was such an interesting mix of high tech and simple, complex and logical. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's such an interesting process. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
I don't, and there's something to be said, even if something can be mass produced, there's something to be said for understanding and having the knowledge of how to do it with your own hands. And maybe that doesn't
Yeah.
appeal to everybody, but how many
Right.
guide feet have I dressed? 100,000, but to do it with a diamond file by hand, you know what I mean? Like, is it different? I don't know. And maybe that's part of the
Right.
attachment you feel to the rod is just the investment. And as I look at every part of it, I don't just see a node. I think of all the steps we went through to
Right.
file and flatten nodes, and how you
Right.
the techniques you showed us to keep lines straight when you're splitting the right and the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's all in there. It's almost like a memory instead of if one is a digital photograph, this has sights and sounds and smells and feelings. I don't know. It's just really, I'm really glad I did it, and I'm going to do it again. And I would, again, if you're even thinking about it, I don't know what else to say other than do it. Stop thinking about it. Just do it. Find a way, pick a date, go do it. You absolutely will not regret it. Just be warned, he's going to jump up and down on a beautiful butt section of a bamboo rod. And if that's the kind of thing that, makes you cringe as it does me, be ready for it. It's going to be fine. That's at risk
Right.
of spoiling the ending. It's
Right.
going to be
I
fine.
wouldn't do it if I thought it wasn't going to be
No,
fine.
know it's going to be fine. I know. I can't imagine how many times you've done it, but you probably jumped on bamboo rods more times than I've jumped. But it was that one stuck out to all of us. That one came up in the comments when I was asking people, like, what do you remember about the class? What would you say about it? So awesome, just awesome stuff, man. So you guys class next week?
Class next week, class last week. So we're
Yep.
back to the grind now. We
Yep.
had a few weeks break from the classes during the holidays there. And now we're back to making the rods, and
Yep.
we're making rods now. I think we took 10 deposits for new custom rods this morning.
Oh,
So
wow.
busy day today for us, considering the small number of rods we can actually get out.
Yeah.
And then we're back to the class again next week. We've got a couple extra guys that help us in between the weeks so we
Yeah.
can get these custom rods out. But
Yeah.
we had filled the rack. I don't know if you saw when you were here. I can't remember how full it was, but
Well, it had 3 or 4 in there when we started, and it only had a couple and they were sold but not gone by the time we were done.
we
There was
got
a
it
lot of
back
foot
up
traffic.
full again, but now
Okay.
we're back down to 1 again. So
I'm so sorry, Bill. What a terrible
it's
problem
no
to
rest
have.
for the weary. No, it's not a problem. It's a problem I could complain about, but nobody'd want to hear it. But
Hey, man,
it's
I'm
a
here
good
for you.
problem to have, but it's still a problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're
And
going as hard as we can. So
you guys do a ton of work in the really elaborate and artistic and of course custom engraved Able and Hardy and other reels too, right? So again, you
Mhm.
can put whatever reel you want to put on this rod. What you do find is the feel and the balance of these is a little bit different, and Bill and his crew have a ton of experience obviously with reels that tend to balance and fit and go really well with the bamboo rods, and they have a lot of that stuff available there, although they had a lot less of it by the end of our class week than they started with,
Right,
which
right.
I think is typical too, right? But
Yeah,
that was kind of a fun aspect of it. And look, to be able to hang a specific reel on your rod and see how the balance feels and see how the cosmetics look, I don't know, the other thing is just the benefit of you doing this is not that you're just going to get to pick your thread color, right? Like you get to pick how you get to pick your grip shape, you get to pick your actual wood insert, you get to pick the color of your hardware, you get to decide how much you want to flame your cane. There's lots of ways from light to medium to dark, or tiger stripe to tortoiseshell, whatever you want to. I mean, there's so many things where you get to decide and make it yours. I knew that was the case, but I came out of it feeling like it was so much more. You're absolutely going to finish. Your rod is absolutely going to be sound, but it is not an assembly line. I mean, everybody
no,
built. I think we had two people who built 8 foot 9 weights. That's where the similarities ended. Like nothing.
right,
It is not an assembly line where you just show up and you're. Because I've seen that with classes too. Like everybody's going to build exactly the same rod just out of
right,
practicality, so everything fits. We can pre-ream, we can pre-fit, we can pre-glue. It's not like that. I mean, you're literally it's a blank canvas when you walk in on day one.
right.
And that was really cool to me. It was never sold as anything different to me, but I don't know if I just assumed there would be some standardization or something, or some limits, but there really wasn't. From any aspect of it to the engraving, this is a completely personal rod.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we're
and
starting with a big piece of grass.
right, yeah,
So could do the sky's the limit there. We
literally,
just work till we reach a fork in the road, and
yeah,
then we all choose our paths from there until we
yeah.
hit the next one. So
Well, it was awesome. I'm just so impressed. I'm still like processing it. It was so cool. For me and Aaron, we already signed up for our next class, right? And I think Chuck and Lisa are in that class. I think Joe and Steve are committed to going to a class. Job well done, and thank you. It was so fun. It was so neat. I promise. I feel like such a slacker. We're sitting here and it's sort of middle of February and I don't have a fish on my rod yet, but I'm going to do that, and I'm going to send it to you guys. I promise. And that's
right
going to
on.
be a super happy day. In a way, it's sort of like it's building. I'm seriously thinking about. There's people who will tell you you can only catch snapper in water deeper than X, but we have some places where we fish where they will come up shallower, and especially once you start catching a few fish, they'll come up, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe a red snapper or triggerfish might be the first fish on the new fly rod. That'd be
That'd be
pretty
fun.
exotic. I'd
Yeah.
be the only kid on my block to do that. So I'm trying to come up with something, a first catch opportunity worthy of. For some reason, I don't want to just go catch a bluegill in a ditch by the side of the road. I feel like I would be dishonoring the rod somehow, or I don't know. This is worthy of some feat of angling accomplishment, you know.
Well,
Well,
I look forward to seeing when you do finally get it in the
I'll get it
water.
done. I promise, man. And just thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure to get to know you. And thank you to your wife. And thank you to Cassie. And thank you to Paxton. And thank you to Jacob and Riley. Just what an incredible experience. You have a very special team. Y'all do a very cool thing. And I think you get that. I think you feel it. And
Oh yeah.
I left feeling like when he met us at the door day one with a big smile on his face, he knew exactly what was going to happen, but we just couldn't believe it until we went through it, you know? So I just
All
count
right.
myself very fortunate to have gotten to go through that, and look forward to doing it again. And I'm out of thumbs for thumbs up, man. There's literally, and I'd love to offer constructive criticism. I can't suggest a single thing to make it better, or to fix it or improve it. Literally can't after 6 days I can't think of a thing. Oh, one thing I will tell you, this is kind of cool. On the last day of your class, and I'm not ruining anything, because the day you walk in you'll see kind of a laminated card of generally what the schedule looks like and how the week goes, because people are going to ask if you don't tell them. But there's a local fishing operation, um, that for varnish day, which is your last day, that's the only day where class isn't kind of continuous. You go in the morning, you go in the afternoon, you go in at night, because you got to dip the varnish and let it dry between coats and sand if necessary and go to your next coat. Like, it's a process thing. But these guys hold open. They don't book on those days because of the relationship they have with you. And you can go out and fish with these guys locally. And I was shocked how good the fishing was. And we had tough low water conditions, and it was, by y'all's standards and their standards, it was not great fishing, but it was absolutely worth doing, and a cool way to spend your your afternoon while you're waiting for your finish to dry, literally, right? So is it Blue Ridge Anglers, or is that I should have prepped before I got on the call with you, but
Big Creek, I think.
Big Creek. Okay,
it was that one where
they're
you
great.
went to.
Yeah. So if you do take the class, like, I recommend it. I'd do it. I thought it was well worth the time and money, and the fishing was good, and the guys were great. So, and they know the drill. They know exactly who we are and why we're there, and sort of are able to tailor what they do. It is kind of an interesting program where they've sort of wrapped this supplementary service around your schedule and your class, you know what I mean? And it was, that was, for me, that was 2 thumbs up. We fished with John, had a great day. It was awesome. Highly recommended if you want to spend your time that way.
Absolutely.
Also,
Good
ask Riley and Bill and Cassie and everybody where to eat. They already know. So you can either go try to figure it out, or you can just ask them from the beginning and trust their recommendations.
We've got a lot of great options. It's a really cool town. Like, honestly, we moved here for the fishing of the Toccoa River.
Yeah.
It was and was previously even better than it is these days. There's not a lot of fisheries that are improving.
Right. Unfortunately.
But this is the trout capital of Georgia, this county that we're in, and we've got 4,000 miles of trout streams within driving distance here in North Georgia. But the town itself has just exploded. The restaurants, the shops, on a weekend, during the week you guys are here, there'll be a few hundred people walking around town.
Literally.
On Saturday, there might be 10,000 walking through town. So, and they all come for different reasons than you guys are here. So you guys also get to experience why everybody else comes too.
Yeah. Well, we were well fed and watered. I guess I just didn't expect that. I didn't think we were at any risk of starving to death, but we had some great meals. I mean, it was again, it just supplemented the experience. You know, it was, I would have been happy if I had to eat fast food every night. I still would have done it, but it's a far cry from that. Right. It was really good. And the shopping was really good. So I don't know, the whole experience, y'all got a really special thing going there. It was very cool. I'm grateful to have been a part of it, and I will come back and be a part of it again. And if you want to be a part of it, all you got to do is Google Oyster Bamboo, right? And
that's right.
And you'll go right to their website. They have done such a brilliant job of answering so many questions, all the logistics, the schedule, how it works. You know, the only urgent message I would give people is, we did December 2025. We booked first available, and I think it was April of 27 or August of 27, maybe August of 27. So they're booked 2 years out for a good reason. Get on that list quick, and just don't think about it. Get on the list, book your deposit, and I promise by the time it rolls around, you'll thank me. And Bill, thank you. And please, on behalf of, you get to accept the thanks on behalf of the whole team, but please tell everybody I said hi and thank you. And make sure Riley knows he just has to call me if he wants anything Fuji. I can get it for him. We had that conversation. Right. I need to follow up with him, but I'm going to be his guy. I owe him. He helped me out tremendously during the week, and I really enjoyed his company. So
absolutely. We appreciate you guys coming.
Oh man, thanks for having us. Yeah, I look forward to the next one. So thanks so much for your time, and thanks everybody for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe and download wherever you get your podcast content. If you want to get awesome Oyster Bamboo shirts like Bill and I are wearing, made with the best of intentions in Blue Ridge, Georgia, you can find those on the website too. So we'll see you next time here on the Mastering Rod Building Podcast.